It's getting hot.
And it's gone.
Reveal all of your secrets, Shin Lim.
Pretty insane because it went all the way up to 1 million. Well, no. Just spiked up and I just lost everything. Oh my God, he's levitating for real. I was wrong. I was so wrong.
Welcome to Don't Sweat It, the show inside a sauna. I'm Jen Kramer, here with my fantastic co-host, Andrei Jikh.
What's up?
And the one and only magician extraordinaire, Shin Lim.
Thank you so much for having me.
As the sauna heats up, the questions get hotter. We'll start at level 1, and by level 5, it'll feel like over 500 degrees on our body. Can our guest make it? Let's find out.
Thank you for joining us. What's up, Shin?
I'm doing well. It's not that hot yet.
It's gonna get hot.
It will.
Last week we had the loser of AGT, and now this week we have the winner of AGT, which is it's pretty cool.
Yes.
We're
That's
working
right,
up.
Two-time winner right here.
Oh my gosh, 2
Yes.
times,
Allegedly.
yeah. So allegedly, we got to talk about this. How was that experience like?
Very stressful. The first one kind of felt like I think I just had so much like adrenaline going on the whole time, so I was just like going. I don't think I really slept the entire I guess last 2 months, because that's when the live rounds are happening. Because before the live rounds, it's all like pre-recorded. Nothing's really live. Even your performances aren't live for the first one. And so that one is kind of relaxed, but then once you get to the live rounds, you really can't mess up anything. So
How many rounds is it?
Total of 5.
5 okay.
rounds, yeah, including one bonus round, but that doesn't really count in the voting. So
Right.
yeah.
I feel like you hit your sweet spot, though, when there's that little bit of pressure in a good way. You seem to be, and I mean this as a compliment, a really chill person in a great way. And so I feel like then, okay, when you're on a TV show or when there's a high pressure situation, it gives you the perfect amount of adrenaline to be just in that ideal spot.
Yeah, I think that actually helps me sometimes. It helps me create better the adrenaline. I don't know what it is. It's funny, the last act, the finale, the one with the floating cards. That act, I had to create it in probably less than a day. I had less than a day to create.
So you created that whole trick?
Not the floating cards. I had already thought of way back. I was like, I want to do something big. I want to do something where it's not. I mean, it is cards, but it's something that's not on the table.
Right.
I want to kind of go away from the table at that point. But I hadn't created the other part, the table part of it yet. And then there was a bunch of issues with music licensing and stuff like that. And so I had something in mind. And then last minute, AGT is like, oh, we couldn't get the clearance for it, so we have to. You can't do the act to this song or anything like that.
Yeah.
So that kind of messed me up, and it kind of the adrenaline was kicked in, and I was like, okay, I got to figure out what to do. I got to figure out how to solve this issue. So
it's so crazy because I feel like you invented, and I know you're not the first one to do this, but you sort of invented this new genre of magic, which I like to call sorcery. So it's after you did your acts, I think it kind of elevated magic to a new level, and this expectation of what people wanted to see was heightened. So how did you kind of come up with those routines? Tell me your secrets.
Oh, your secret? Oh,
Reveal all of your secrets, Shin Lim.
Am I allowed to say it is this PG or what is this? No. I mean, I don't know. I never say that. I always tell people I don't create out of nothing. I always get inspired from other people's material. Always. An act I do is called 52 Shades of Red. It involves mostly on the table, all cards on the table.
It's a beautiful act.
Yeah, all done to music. And so that act, for example, was inspired by Copperfield's Grandpa's Aces. I don't know if you've ever seen it.
Yes,
it's a beautiful act. And I watched his routine on YouTube, and I said, okay, I want to create something like that. And so that's where it kind of evolved from, is from that act. So that's mostly where I get my inspiration from, is I see someone I really respect and their act that I think is really good, and put my little twist to it. So I wouldn't say I create wholly original stuff. It's just changed a little bit, and all of a sudden people think it's completely new, but it really isn't. If you break it down, it's not anything. Like,
it's derivative of
something that's already been done before.
Sure.
Yeah.
What would you say is your favorite trick to perform?
Oh, Dream Act for sure.
Dream Act.
Yeah. I think because like
for people unaware of which one is that?
Sorry, yeah, the act where the smoke comes out of my mouth and like I have the two spectators.
That has like over 50
side.
million views on YouTube or something. Ridiculous.
Yeah, it's crazy. I remember when that went like viral for the first time. It was the first time something of mine went viral, and I was like, oh, this is crazy.
Now
like,
that was on Penn and Teller Fool.
That was on Penn and Teller Fool Us, yeah.
Okay, well, you tell us what was that moment like, because I remember you going viral too and being so excited because it got, I mean, the well-deserved attention that it should, but what was it like for you? Like, was it just your phone blowing up? What did it feel
funny.
like?
So I remember when it first came out, and I posted it on my YouTube because I think that's the cool thing about Fool is they let you be the one to post it first, which is really cool. I think that's even like AGT and stuff, they don't let you do that, but Fool Us, the producers are super cool. They let you do that. And I remember I posted the video on my channel, and then it got like 300 views on the whole day, 24 hours, and I was like, okay, that's pretty good. I thought maybe there would be more, but that's okay. And then it stayed at 200 views on the second, 300 views on the second day. And then all of a sudden, within like the next minute, boom, it went to like 20,000. It just jumped. So I think there was like something going on with like the algorithm or something. It just wasn't counting the views or something, and it was amazing. I was like, wow, this is what it feels like to go viral. This is cool. Like,
it was funny. I was gonna have you come over for our either Halloween or Christmas party, and one of my friends was like, "No way, Shin is coming. Is he gonna do the smoke thing?" So I would say that trick really is the most popular one.
Yeah, it's my favorite. I like because I really get into like the music aspect of it. I can really feel. It's almost like a dance.
Yeah,
I feel like I'm almost dancing to the music, and there's obviously there's magic too, but it's just one of those acts that I can feel the energy, so and of the two spectators as well,
and that's like a real signature moment for you. I just realized it means that this podcast is really on brand. We got the steam,
yes,
with the smoke.
It's getting hot.
I love it.
Yeah.
No, it's crazy because a lot of your work is so cinematic. Like the soundtracks you pick, and I know you like stress over every little detail. Like, where do you get the soundtracks? Because I know you've used Inception soundtracks. You've used
amazing music.
Yeah. Oh, it's just music I like. I love movies. If I wasn't doing magic, and if I can't do music because of my carpal tunnel, but if I wasn't doing magic, I would be doing film for sure.
Wait, you can't just skip over that for people that don't know about it. What do you mean you have carpal tunnel?
Oh, so I was actually a musician before I was a magician or even in film. I studied music since I was like 9. I went to university for music, but then while I was in university, I got carpal tunnel syndrome in both of my wrists. Essentially, I was just using my hands too much. I personally believe that I was actually playing, and my teacher actually agrees with this, I was playing the piano too low. So I wasn't able to use the weight of my elbow to help push on the keys the whole time. So I was just literally using the strength of just my fingers to play all the notes. And I think that's what messed up my wrist, because I was just putting too much strain on the tendons. And so I kind of had to withdraw from that and make a decision. I was like, okay, it's either I withdraw from music and then come back to it, but I can't do magic because the magic I was doing, sleight of hand, also takes a toll on your wrists and on your tendons. So I kind of had to make a choice, and so I chose magic. I'm glad I did. I mean, to be honest, blessing in disguise, really, because I think I found something like really unique with magic that I could do. Yeah. But yeah, I was also I was a dual major in university, so I was doing film as well. Music. Yeah.
And you've been able to incorporate being a pianist into the magic.
Yeah. I really felt like I haven't stopped music. Like, people are like, oh, do you feel bad that you can't do music anymore? And I always say no, because like music is such an important part of my show and every single part of my act.
Absolutely.
It's literally 50% of it, I think. And so I edit everything in my show. So I don't compose it. I have someone write it for me, but I still edit it and I piece it all together from beginning to end. So,
I saw you playing the piano on an AGT clip from just a few months ago, the collaboration with Yoo-Ho Jin doing the card manipulation. That was cool.
Yeah.
Play the piano.
Yeah, that's as far as I can go now. I can only play like easy pieces like that, like River Flows in You.
Shin, at what point did you know that you won AGT? Like, you did round 5, you did the revelation, and then at what point did they tell you that you won?
Well, when they announced it, when
the audience found out, that was your first time.
That was the first time.
That was your
I had no idea, but what hyped me up to being like, okay, maybe I might actually win this thing. Zucchero at the time, they were the big dance group, the one that lifted me up in the air. Like they were all like with the most serious look, and they believed it in their eyes. They were like, you're gonna win this thing, and when you win it, we're gonna lift you up, okay? And I was like, I'm like, what are you talking about? You don't know I'm gonna win or not. And then they announced it, and then they sure enough they lifted me up, and I was like, holy crap, this is.
What was the first thing that went through your mind when you won?
I felt like I was in a dream, because I think all of the adrenaline was there, and I just kind of felt this very euphoric, almost out of body experience. And then when they lifted me up, even more euphoric feeling. So the whole thing just felt really amazing, and God, I'm gonna remember for the rest of my life.
Did the money at any point in that moment enter your mind? Like, I'm a millionaire. Or was that not even like a?
It wasn't. I didn't really care.
You didn't even care about it.
That. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I do. I'm a very stingy person. I like to save a lot, but like
you're frugal.
And I'm frugal. Yeah, like I do care about money, but at the same time, like I think for me, like showing magic to the world and being a magician that like won on AGT, like to share that type of like magic experience to lay people, to me that was more important and like really special. And so I was like, wow, okay, like that's
I feel like most people would be like, no, I thought about becoming a millionaire at that moment, which I feel like a lot of people would want to know, like what happened with that money, because there's two options you can have. You can either take the $1 million up front as a lump sum, or payments over some amount of time. But what people don't know is if you take the lump sum, it's less than the $1 million.
That's right. That's true. You can see it on they have a little disclaimer like at the bottom. I forget what it says specifically, but pretty much if you take the lump sum, it's not the full $1 million. The AGT pretty much gets some sort of a cut, essentially.
Now, before you tell us what you did and what you picked, let's go to level 2. Let's get a little warmer.
Okay. Wow. Oh. Spicy.
Sizzling.
Oh, that is getting warmer.
Yeah, it'll get a little warmer.
Something nice about the crackle. It's like I feel like from a music perspective, maybe the crackle can make its way into like one of your next pieces. We'll see shit on stage, and that'll be like a nice little like.
Is it me, or does this session feel not hot at all?
It does not. Like I think, did we not do level 1?
Like we did, but this is our first level 1. But Dylan, did you turn it on like a while ago? 52 minutes?
Before we got in, I guess.
That's so weird. It's like weak today.
Shin, you're bringing your anti-heat magic spells into the sauna.
Yes. Nice. Very good.
Or it's the leftovers from Piff. Right. The magic scales.
That's right. It's Piff's magic scales. Exactly.
It's so dumb. Hold on.
Oh yeah, this is squeegee time.
Okay, squeegee time.
Shin, I'm so curious about what your daily routine is like.
Oh. Well, I have shows at the Mirage, owned by Hard Rock, and it's I don't know why I said that. And it's at 7:30, so I usually wake up around 12. Breakfast. I'm not too sure. I just do like errands and stuff, like just regular boring, like regular errands, and then get the dogs ready for work, and then we go to work. Oh well, I like create stuff as well. I always have a deck of cards in my hand, so I'm always messing with new stuff.
Well, you get the dogs ready for work.
Yeah, we drive them to the marsh. They always come.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, put them in the car.
they're showrunners there.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm imagining them like at
their
their little
stage
laptops.
Their union, yeah.
Yeah. They're like, hey guys, make sure you're setting everything properly. No.
We require a minimum of 4 treats per day.
Yes. Yeah, you guys are doing your job, right? Yeah. Yeah, they're great. They're 2 little Pomeranians, black and white. Black and white.
What are their names?
The white one is Natsu, and the black Pomeranian is Mamoru. Yeah,
Natsu.
Yin and Yang. Yeah, they're great, and they're totally opposite like personalities too. So it's cool. They're great cute. Dogs. Yeah.
So $1 million question.
Yes.
What did you do?
So I chose the lump sum.
Okay,
I was like, I'm just gonna take the lump sum because I think the monthly like payment. I forget how many months it went through, but I think it was a couple of years. It was like 20 years or something.
Yeah, like they could pay you a penny per month.
Something like
years.
that. I don't know how much it would be per month, but so I chose a lump sum after their cut and after taxes, because taxes, they tax you. I think I forget what exactly it was. It was higher than the normal tax rate because it was like you won it was almost like lottery. So it was taxed on like lottery winnings.
Okay. So
it was like 50% or something crazy high amount. So I was only left with about 300 something K.
And you said you had to pay taxes on the full 1 million, even though that's not what you received.
No, but that's what the government's like. Well, this is how much you won.
Right.
Yeah. This is what is your winnings.
What did you do with the money? Did you reinvest it back into like Illusions, or did you invest it, or?
No, I just put in my bank account, savings account. Yeah. I didn't start investing until 2020.
Okay.
Yeah. Only once I started making money like from the residency, because I started my residency actually in 2019. It wasn't like an actual residency. They were just testing me out, seeing if the Vegas audience likes me. Apparently that's like a thing. So what happened was actually after I won AGT, I went on tour. I did the Illusionists. I don't know if you know that. They're kind of like a touring company. I toured with them for a bit, and then I did the AGT residency, but it's not a residency. It's just a 5-day stint at the Paris Hotel at the time. That's what it was. Now it's at the Luxor, but it was 5 days at the Paris Hotel, and that was like my quote unquote residency that they give you. But that's it. It's just 5 days, and then it just so happened that MGM was there at the time, so they happened to be in the audience. They saw my show and they're like, okay, we want you at the Mirage. We want to see if people in Vegas like you at the Mirage. So they brought me in 2019. People did like it, I guess, and then I started doing a lot of shows, and then at that point I was making like a good amount, like a constant like revenue, and my parents were like, okay, I think this is good, you should invest. So I was like, okay. So that's when I started investing, around 2019.
That's awesome. And at what point did you do the AGT Winners of Winners?
Oh, Champions. That was actually
Champions,
so that aired in 2018 or 19. Any winners of I don't know, Poland's Got Talent, Canada's Got Talent, whatever, like, or finalists or something like that. Those ones, or Britain's Got Talent, they would go to Champions.
So Champions of Champions is all the previous winners.
All the previous winners, yeah.
Get together and you guys all compete.
I think it was 52.
52 winners from all the seasons. Yeah. Was Susan Boyle there?
Yes, she was there. Susan Boyle was there.
What?
Yeah, and it didn't have to be winners. I think it was also second place and third place counted as well. So it was cool.
So you competed in that?
Yeah, it was, and even though it aired later, it aired actually a year later. That's what happened. It aired a year later, but they shot the whole thing a week after AGT. So that was pretty crazy because my adrenaline had been so high the entire time of AGT because there was so much happening. Like I remember I was telling you the with the music licensing issues that they had with the final act. They had that also for the semifinals, the quarterfinals. Yeah, they had that issue with the semifinals and the quarterfinals where the music licensing they just couldn't get the rights to. So last minute I had to change everything music wise because obviously my act is so so music oriented, so like it was so stressful. So I had all this like adrenaline built up from the regular AGT, and then they're like, hey, you wanna do this thing called Champions? And I was like, okay, sure, I guess, yeah, I'll do it. I'm not too sure why I said yes. I just said yes, and then the crash happened. Like my adrenaline crash happened during Champions. It was just like very stressful. That one was really stressful.
What was the reason behind why? Was that like another prize giveaway or a competition, or what was the?
That one didn't really have that one. I think the prize money was $25,000, something like that. Yeah, $25,000.
It should have been like 10 or 100 million.
Yeah, I don't.
52 million technically.
52 million. Yeah. If you add up all their winnings. Yeah. Yeah. I don't. It was just. I think they kind of put the idea up pretty quickly.
Almost like a gala show or something.
It felt like it. It felt like one of those types of shows.
So going back to that moment, you said your adrenaline crashed right as you're filming Champions. So how did you push through that?
I don't think I did. If you watch me like back, and like my eyes were like, I mean, I had like makeup on, so you couldn't really see like the bags in my eyes. But I was so tired. But I was like, okay, just keep doing this. So let's see if we can do this.
You won that one.
Yeah.
You were the winner you were the champion of all champions.
Yeah. Season one.
That's insane. Well, did you expect to win at all?
Nah, because I mean, you got Susan Boyle. Like,
Yeah, you
got
beat Susan Boyle.
You got like Darcy Lynn. Like,
jeez.
yeah.
Did you actually get to meet him and talk to him?
Yeah. Oh, there's Susan. So she had, like, I think because in the past she had her like own separate room. She had like special treatment, I think. So except for Susan Boyle, I got to meet all the other ones. Yeah.
That's incredible, man. Let's go to level 3 because I want to ask you about your thoughts on the future of magic.
Okay.
He's like not even breaking a sweat.
Are you sweating right now? Are you sweating?
I think I am.
I think so. You're right. Shin is handling this really well.
Well, I don't handle heat very well, but I don't sweat though. That is the weird thing. Like when I work out, I don't sweat for some reason. I don't know.
That's not healthy.
Yeah, I think I was like, is something wrong with me? I don't know. Something might be wrong with me. Well, no, I do sweat like if I'm working out like really like for more than an hour, like 2 hours. If I'm like running or something, then I do sweat. But
we're going to level 10 with Shin. It's official.
We're going to level 10. What's level 10? How hot's level 10?
I don't even know. We're gonna find out.
Okay. We've never done level 10. Level 9,000 with Shin.
That's cool.
So with all the social media stuff that's like sort of on the internet, all the stuff on Instagram and TikTok, are you kind of keeping up with it?
No, not at all.
Not at all.
I haven't been on social media for a long time.
Why?
Yeah. I don't know. I got like burnt out, I guess, in 2020. I started posting during the pandemic hit. So
you were doing a lot of YouTube.
Yeah, we were doing YouTube. I was doing everything, TikTok, everything. And then I don't know, something kind of just happened, and I was like, huh, I'm not like, it's not like inspiring me, I guess, as much as I thought it would. And I thought, and at the time also MGM was like, hey, like we're thinking of opening, so why don't you create your show? And like, because at the time we were switching theaters too. Or not switching theaters, sorry, we're revamping the theater because it was Terry Fator Theater at the time that I was performing in, and then they wanted to make it the Shin Lim Theater. So they're like, start thinking about designing it and stuff like that. So it kind of happened at the same time. That was like my excuse at the time. I was like, okay, well, looks like I need to start focusing on my residency, so I'm not going to focus on social media. I'm a very like, well, I don't really multitask in that kind of sense. Like if I'm doing one thing, I'm just going to stick with it and kind of go down that road. So yeah, and it was, I forget when, it was like it was a certain month of 2020. I was like, yep, all right, I'm done. I'm not going to post anymore. If I post, I'll post like minimal and stuff. And then, yeah, and that's kind of my whole social media. I mean, I'm sure in the future something will happen.
What do you think about, people saying like, oh, social media hurts magic and it like exposes it? I'm sure you've seen a lot of the exposed videos.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, like exposure with magic, it's a weird thing because yes, like obviously it depends on how you look at magic. So for me, I see magic like I treat it the same as piano or any other art form or like film. I mean, most people know magic's not real. Like much like how we know like film isn't real. Like we know that Iron Man isn't actually Iron Man. Like Robert Downey Jr. is an Iron Man, but he plays the character so well and he acts in it so well to the point where you forget that he's an actor and you believe that he's Iron Man. And so as magicians, we're doing the same thing. We're putting people in disbelief for a couple of hours. And so for the whole revealing thing, like if you look at it, I look at it as an art form, like the piano. And so, people teach stuff online about music and stuff like that. So it's the same with magic. You teach magic online, just like how you teach, music and film and anything like that. And I think if we want to move in that direction, that's how we have to do it. If you want to keep it in the same like space as like magic is real, like sorcery, like they're doing real sorcery, then yeah, of course we shouldn't be teaching it. We should be like, no, this, you can't do this. You have to be special to do this.
Well, what are your feelings about the direction that the magic world is going in and the future of magic?
Yeah, because for example, like when I think about a deck of playing cards, it's such an archaic old object that I feel like is less and less prevalent in like a normal house. Now that people are playing like on their iPads or iPhones or whatever.
Yeah.
So do you think that magic has to evolve for it to stay relevant? And if it does, like, where do you see it going?
Yeah, I don't really know because we can't predict the future. I wish I was really an actual mentalist, but no, I mean, I actually genuinely see it kind of going. Actually, you know what? I'll just say this. I see so many like younger kids like getting into magic, and especially like younger girls too at the meet and greet.
Yes,
it's
100% at my meet and greet, same thing.
Yeah, right.
I
At the meet
love
and
it.
greets,
Yeah.
I see more young girls having like the little magic sets than boys, which says something to me. I it's no longer like this like niche guy thing that only guys are doing, like dudes trying to do it to pick up girls, like, you know what I mean? Like it's not that anymore. It's to me that screams out that it's becoming like an art form, like music. Like people are treating it like the piano, like they understand. Everyone now is starting to understand little basic things of magic, like maybe we all know how linking rings work, or we know how like the basic cutting, you know, the lady in half type trick works. Like people are starting to learn that, much like how people know basic chords, basic theory of music. And so I think it's going in that direction, in kind of like that intellectual type of way, so people appreciate magic on a different level rather than being like, oh my god, he's levitating for real, like, you know,
He's trying to get my number.
yeah, exactly. They're appreciating in a sense, like, okay, that was a really cool method, the way he performed that was really good. I think that is where it's going, I hope.
It's cool to
Yeah.
hear about your meet and greets,
Yeah.
because I can totally relate. And we were just talking right before we started recording. We have a good mutual friend. Shout out to Ruben.
Hello, Ruben.
And I was saying to Shin, because I know Shin and Ruben are tight. Ruben's one of my first friends in magic, and we met because of the Society of Young Magicians group. So we used to meet
SYM.
first Saturday of the month, exactly. SYM
Which is
group
a
in New
secret
York.
magic club for those unaware what Society
Very
of
secret.
American. Yeah, that's very secret.
It's a group of young magicians. We'd meet up. We had this awesome adult mentor, Albert Lasher, who's amazing. And I remember being a part of the group from age 11-ish until I aged out at 18. It was me, it was Ruben, it was our group of friends. But the whole time I remember thinking it would have been really cool to have other girls who were a part of the group. And now that group has several young girls who are a part of it, and I feel like that's also just indicative of the way the magic world is going.
It's kind of moving in that direction.
Totally. So I
really
see it
feel
with that group. I see it with the meet and greets, 100%.
That's so cool. What do you guys learn in a magic group? Because I like, as a kid growing up, I only had myself and my roommate Angelo, and we would just go around the strip and we'd perform magic in Houdini's, the magic shops, and then we'd get kicked out of the casino. And the magicians hated us because they were like, "Go away, kid! I'm trying to sell tricks."
Right.
So we never had anyone. But how was it like being in like a magic group?
Oh, I loved it.
What do you learn? Like what happens?
Well, okay, so we would get up and we would each perform something that we were working on, and then we would give feedback to each other. And so many of the lessons I learned in magic early, I'm so grateful for, because it was things like Albert would say to us, if you get up there to show us something and something doesn't work out just right? Something goes wrong with the magic. One of the things that he taught us that I thought was so important, especially to learn when you're first getting started, is that the audience doesn't know what's supposed to happen. They don't know what you intended to do. So a lot of times you'd have one of us would get up in front of the group, and you'd see one of the young magicians would say, oh, I'm sorry, like that messed up, sorry about that. And Albert would be like, no, you can think through different ways to handle it. And just because something went awry, the audience doesn't need to know anything ever went wrong in the first place if you just handle it right.
That's a great point.
That's so cool. I wish I had that.
Yeah, no,
I never had that either. I was just, I mean, I learned everything on YouTube. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was an online kid. I live in Boston, so we never had like a group like where we could meet up. Because like the linking ring, which is IBM, it was like a bunch of old dudes. Like, it was a bunch of like 7-year-old guys. So I was like, this is kind of not my vibe. So that was really cool.
Not my demographic.
I wish I had that. Yeah.
You know, a lot of magic is sort of like multiple outs, where the secret is, like Jen was saying, you don't know where the trick is going, and so by the end of it, you're like, oh, that's what was supposed to happen. I wonder if there's a way to apply that to like life though, like in your career. Like they're like, hey, you screwed up, you forgot to send the email. You're like, I meant to not do it. Look, it's in my calendar. Like, is there a way to like live your life with multiple outs?
Multiple interesting.
Out. And then you sell it on a website. It's like, you learn how to do this multiple out situation. $49.99.
Yeah. Like, hey, I'm getting a divorce. That's all right. Multiple outs.
I have a multiple out DVD for that. yeah. Master class for multiple out divorce. yeah.
No, that's fascinating. Well, what about VR though? Like, do you think VR has a future in Magic?
I've been messing. I actually in 2020 when the pandemic hit, like I didn't do anything. I was actually
because everyone was doing Zoom. It was Zoom performances.
Yeah, I did a couple of that. My Zoom show is so bad, so I don't want to talk about that. But because I think I don't know. It was so weird to perform for Zoom. Like just. I like to feel the energy of the. I'm sure Jen, you know this, the energy of the crowd, and you can actually like, kind of like. Well, and Andre, you know this too. I'm sure you perform too. Like you can actually feel like the energy and kind of like what you need to do to kind of go bring them up, bring them down.
Right.
And with Zoom, you can't feel their energy.
They're like frozen.
Yeah, they're and sometimes they're. So yeah, it was really weird. But I was also I experimented a little bit with VR, and I think there is totally a future. I mean, I actually get like motion sickness. So like the VR stuff where like I'm moving in digitally but not in real life, like that makes me sick.
Right.
Yeah. So like I can like, but in VR if I'm walking and then I'm moving,
so you can't play Skyrim, or could you play Skyrim?
In VR probably not.
Okay.
Yeah, probably not. Yeah, but
look at me, I'm so old.
But
Skyrim?
Like, no, I played Skyrim. Like
I mean Apex, League of Legends,
Mario Kart 64.
Oh, it's even older.
I know. I remember the old Nintendo with that.
That was great though. They should put that in VR.
Wait, so if you're in VR, are you you're obviously you're not like an icon or
no,
avatar.
Yeah. I just shot myself in VR, like doing it.
So I would put on goggles and it'd be like,
That's right.
It's Shin.
Yeah, and then you would be able to like kind of go like this and watch the magic and you feel like you have a cool like.
How much leeway would I have? Like
180. But 180.
180.
Yeah,
okay.
180. So it'll go from all the way to this side. But once you pass that 180 barrier, you get the it cuts off obviously.
Are you afraid that like they would be able to see if they tilted at a certain angle? They'd be like, oh, I see that.
No, it's the same. It's the same thing as like kind of how the setup we have right here.
Okay.
Like yeah, so if I'm performing like my magic, like that, as long as it doesn't flash for past these camera lines, then it's gonna look great, and it does look great. I tried it with the Oculus, and I was like, whoa, this is cool.
So you would only have one camera in front of you, or like a 360 setup?
Just the one VR camera, and it has the little flip thing out. It's this cheap 180 camera. But I think the technology is gonna get better, and it might be the future. I don't know. I think it might be the future of how we consume entertainment. You know,
right? Well, I know there's like concerts going on now. You could like buy VR, tickets and.
So I was working with a friend of mine who's a game developer, and we were playing around just to see, okay, what's possible with the current version of tech and where it is.
Yeah.
And it's pretty cool when you think about, okay, you can just envision something and then create a button. Like we built this theater, and it was all very early stage, but we built a theater, and basically we'd have it so that, okay, you could walk up onto the stage, you could make a choice of this card or that card, this button or that button, and then it would like transport you to these different sets, so you could end up in a forest or on a beach. And so it's kind of cool just to think of what VR could be capable of as it gets better and better and more accessible to people moving forward.
And once it gets lighter too, because right now it is kind of clunky,
more
so
bulky.
It does remind me of like phones and stuff. You know, like back then, like it's so clunky and big, but then eventually became super small that everyone can use it all the time to consume entertainment. I bet people in the 90s never would have imagined that. They're like, oh no, it's only for phone calling.
Right.
Yeah, and it's like the thing that we have in our pockets now is capable of more than an entire room of NASA computers would have been capable of back in the day. It's pretty wild.
I don't know why it made me think, your guys' conversation made me think of like wanting to ask you crypto and NFTs. What do you think about the development of that? Do you think it's all a scam? Do you think it has a potential? Or
I was just always like, because I started investing in 2020.
Yeah.
And then I saw a lot of your videos. I saw a lot of my friend Sam was asking me about it. Sam, he was asking me about it. He's like, hey, are you doing crypto yet? And I was like, yeah. Not yet. I don't know. I'm just gonna wait because I'm kind of like a sit back and see kind of guy.
Sure.
So and then at the time also, I did have Morgan Stanley. They were doing all my investments for me.
Yeah.
So I wasn't really so much focusing on that, but I actually took a little bit of money for myself to like, I called
Play
money.
Yep.
I opened up a Robinhood account. I actually asked, I remember I texted you, I'm like, hey man, how do you do options? I was like, so
don't ask me, man.
I was like, how do you do options? Because I want to do that seems like fun.
Like the sketchiest, or not the sketchiest, but like the riskiest
oh
thing.
yeah,
like options.
Sounds like multiple outs. I have different
yeah,
options.
it is. No, actually there is no multiple out. There's only 2 options. You make money or you lose everything.
No, there's 4 though. You can buy, yeah.
And I lost everything. I lost everything. Yeah.
What did you do?
I options. I only did options.
You can't be like, I asked Andre and he gave me advice and I lost everything.
No. I asked you, and then I think I just went on. I was
like, just stick with index funds and
you told
ETFs.
You told me to just not do options, and I was like, no, but I want it because like that's what Morgan Stanley was already doing. They were doing like
they were doing options.
They were doing
the indexes,
right. Yeah. So I was like, I don't want to do that. I want to do what they're not doing. So I want to do other stuff. So.
But you never got into NFTs or crypto or Bitcoin.
No. Because and I couldn't even do it on my Robinhood because
they didn't have
they
crypto
said that they were like, well, in Nevada, because I moved to Vegas in 2020, and I think I am sweating.
Thank God.
I think I am sweating, and I usually don't sweat.
This is my goal for the whole podcast. We're on level 3, and my eyeballs are sweating, and he's just like, I think I gotta do it.
All right. Well, on that note, shall we move on to level 4?
Oh, sure. And we can continue talking about
Just went up to the next level.
Yes.
Woo.
All right.
So every time you hit the water, it goes to the next level.
Yeah.
Wow.
Do you feel it?
Yeah. This is cool. This is gonna be crazy when we go outside.
Yeah, this will be bad.
This is
outside.
So this is like the cryo chamber thing, or the whatever, like when you go from extreme hot to extreme cold.
Yeah.
They do that to like heal your body or something. Like apparently it gets rid of all
toxins.
Yeah. I feel like this is meditative for you, Jen. Like,
do you meditate? Do you like work out at all, or?
No, I just do the.
You just do magic.
To relax. No, to relax. You mean
to take care of your health?
Oh, to take care of my health.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know what I do to take care of my health.
You don't know what you do?
No. Oh well, no. Actually, I've cut out sugar completely.
Oh, okay.
Really?
Yeah, and actually that's made a big difference. Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
I still eat like fruits and stuff, but I've cut out like all sugar.
Do you have any unhealthy habits?
Well, yeah. You know what? Yeah, you know. Yeah.
Oh, you know.
Yeah, you know. You know the thing. Yeah, no.
Oh, well, I guess we're not gonna share it here. Man.
Oh, I am saying.
It's so crazy. I met you in 2012.
Yeah.
And back then you were showing me this 4 color change trick with 4 cards. Yeah. You were just working on it. And yeah, I think at the time you didn't have your fancy hair. You had like a
bowl cut.
A bowl cut.
Like that.
Yeah, man, I did not think that your career would go the way that it did. It was crazy, but you skyrocketed.
Neither would I.
It's so crazy. It's so cool to see you become so successful at it.
Oh, dang. And then I lost all of it on options. It was crazy.
Remember that million?
Yeah. Well, no. So it was funny because I asked you, and then you were like, "Don't do options," and I didn't listen to Andre, and I did it anyways. I learned how to do it, and it was. You know what? It's pretty insane because it went all the way up to $1 million. So I took just a little amount.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I took like it was about 150,000.
Wait, you turned 150 grand into $1 million.
Into $1 million
with options.
1.5, and then but then I lost all of it. It was crazy. You just go whoop, pew, down. It was. Just,
what did you?
Shorting and calling.
Which stock? Do you remember?
S&P 500. The SPY.
How did you make over $1 million shorting SPY?
Because it went down, and then I was like, sweet, and I sold my I sold the thing, so I made the amount, and it went back up, and I was like, okay, I think about now, and I shorted
so you
it
tried
again.
to bet on it again?
Yeah. And so I was betting on the ups and downs of it, and I was like, this is fun, this is great, this is so cool. I'm gonna keep going up and up and up, and then eventually, I think it went down really low, and I thought it was gonna go lower, and all of a sudden it just spiked up, and I just lost everything.
And it's gone.
Yeah, and it was like I was like, and my dad was like, see, I told you not to do that. I'm like, oh yeah, you're right.
Jeez. Well, do you invest in anything else right now actively?
Yeah, I have Morgan Stanley doing all
okay,
stuff.
But you're not getting into like real estate or?
Maybe eventually, probably. Yeah. not right now.
Okay.
Yeah, not right now.
What's the show going through right now? Because I know MGM it was bought out by, or not MGM, but that property.
Hard Rock purchased.
So what is that like?
Mirage. We're going through like a transitional phase, I would say, right now. So a lot of hectic things are happening. I'm still staying, so don't worry. I'm still at the Mirage, guys. I won't be going anywhere anytime soon. But
by the way, is your contract for like a year at a time, or do you sign it for like 5 years at a time?
So initially it was for 15 years.
15 years,
but then I told them, like, pretty much in the contract it says I can leave whenever I want. Like, and they if they feel like I'm not good for their brand or whatever, they can kick me out whenever they want. So that's just it's actually mostly a handshake deal. That's how
do they pay you when you sign a 15-year? Do they pay you a lump sum?
Oh, no. So it's like a partnership.
Okay.
So we split everything. We split everything. Yeah, we get it. It's not half. There's a percentage, but we split the ticket sales essentially.
Got it. And in show business, there's these terms that I'm not familiar with, like 4-walling or 2-walling. Like, could you explain that?
2-wall, I believe. I'm a 2-wall, I think. Where they pay for the rent of the theater, and then, but I pay for it, or they pay for the rent of the theater first, and then I pay them back. I think that's how it works right now.
Right.
I'm actually not 100% sure.
So your income is based on ticket sales
100%
that you sell. It's not like a salary that you get.
No. So if I go under a certain capacity, then I lose money. So yeah, it's risky.
How big's the theater?
1,300 seats.
Do you sell out like every time, or what's like a good?
There are months where I'm doing really well, and this month I'm not doing so well, mainly because of the acquisition. There's some issues happening with technical issues with it, so we're actually unable to sell the tickets. So yeah, so right now I'm not doing so hot, but hopefully it gets better. Yeah.
Well, I didn't know this, but apparently some entertainers have to pay for their own like advertising too, and it's like running a show like that. A lot of people don't know is insanely expensive.
Yeah, it is. I do pay for I mean, they take care of the advertising, but I still have to pay them, reimburse them essentially for all the advertising costs.
Do you know off the top of your head like what's a budget that you spend?
Yeah, like it can $5,000 a day.
5,000 a day.
Yep, 5,000 a day.
Gosh.
Yeah. That would be like average. Like that's average, yeah.
150 grand a month just for advertising.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
that is insane. And do you know how to like track the ROI on that? Do you see the returns like analytics, or you don't?
I have to trust that they're doing good by me.
Yeah. And what's like the most expensive part? Is it the billboards?
Yeah, it's electronic too. So like I think they're putting it on like probably Facebook. Yeah,
because I've seen your billboards in like near the airport and like
that stuff costs rental money. Yeah, so that probably puts into that. Well, $5,000 a day. So.
How is that not stressing you out? That would just kill me with stress.
Yeah, I kind of going into it, I was really stressful. I remember when we were coming out of the pandemic, because we opened July 1st of 2021.
Yeah,
and before the pandemic, MGM was like, hey, we'll pay for your new setup, your new theater. Like we'll pay for your new design, your back wall, everything. But then once the pandemic hit, they practically were like, okay, yeah, we don't have any funds. You got to pay for everything. So opening was actually really risky, because not only with all the advertising stuff that we didn't really know how much it was going to cost, I had to fund the entire show essentially.
Jeez.
So the new walls, everything.
Do you have to pay the employees?
Yeah, all my crew, my whole crew obviously have to pay too as well. But that one is hourly, so it's
right. It's not crazy.
If there's no show, then it's okay. Like,
right.
Yeah, so I don't have to pay them. But yeah, so it was a really big risk. I wasn't sure if I was even gonna. I was like, I don't know if this is a good idea, but okay. Because if no one came to the show, I would have been screwed like big time. Like I would have invested such a huge amount into the theater, and then into advertising, and after all of that, if I don't make it back, then.
Have you ever had to refund like a whole show?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
For what?
COVID.
Oh sure.
Yeah. So
I was gonna say like maybe you messed up a trick and they're like, oh god, this guy.
No. So like my crew, I think it was in January, everyone was getting COVID. Yeah. And practically half of my crew got COVID.
So you had to cancel.
We had to close down. So that was the first time. That was a big one. And then the second big one was when I got COVID. So.
Do you have any crazy stories from your show that was like?
Something
memorable that you're like, I will never forget that night?
Oh, definitely will not. So I don't know. You've seen the show?
Yeah,
of course.
Where the piano goes up
fantastic.
and the piano levitates.
Yeah.
Please don't tell me the piano fell.
Yep, it fell.
Oh my!
And it fell on my foot.
Oh.
Yeah, and so
Ouch.
the way it works, there's a lot of counterweight to that piano, so it's heavy, like really heavy, and so it's like I don't know how many pounds. Well, it's twice my weight because it needs to be able to, to lift me up. So gosh, so I don't know. I think it was the adrenaline or something because I'm not a strong guy. So I just literally like first I tried pulling. I'm like, oh yeah, there's no way. I need help. But I think all the crew they were kind of freaking out because I think everyone was in shock. So no one knew what to do at that point.
So you levitated up.
I levitated up. Essentially what happened was one of the crew members forgot to set it up properly.
Sure.
And so it went, and it just went boom down
on the ground.
Onto the ground, boom, right into the ground. And then, but it was at a 45-degree angle, so I was like at a 45-degree angle up like that. And then when it came down, when it swung back down to level ground, that's when it hit my foot.
Ooh.
Were you still attached to the piano when it fell?
Yeah, I was attached.
Oh,
That's why I
jeez.
couldn't get out. I couldn't leave.
Oh, yeah. So
And
what happened after that?
So it was on my foot for a while, and I was waiting. I was like, okay, someone's gonna come lift this thing up, right? And no one was coming because everyone was kind of like, I think everyone was in shock, and so was I. And so I said, okay, I gotta. Well, first I tried lifting it up, and then it wouldn't go because it was too heavy, and so I stood up, and I think my adrenaline kicked in at that point, and I lifted it up, and I slid my foot out. So it was like one of those things. I think, have you seen those stories like where pregnant women like is able to lift a car or something?
I was just thinking about that. Like if they're saving a kid in their car, somehow they're able to do it. It seems like a superhuman feat.
It felt like exactly that moment. Yeah. Wow. And then my foot it landed on the perfect spot where like it still hurts till this day. But
did you break it?
No broken bones.
Okay.
Nothing broken. Yeah. So
did it also expose the trick or no?
Yeah, I mean,
you think so?
People were like, something went wrong.
Right.
Yeah. People were like laughing out of shock. I think. Yeah.
Because they didn't know how to react.
They didn't know how to react. They were like, it was like a nervous laughter, like, oh, ha ha ha, something went wrong, but like, oh, this is actually dangerous. Like,
was that the craziest thing that's happened?
I would say so. That was the craziest thing. A couple other crazy things, but it's not like dangerous or anything. But like, it's still pretty scary. Like the video wall just stops working.
Jeez.
So I don't have a video wall. So
right,
and
for the whole show.
I'm doing close-up magic.
For the whole show?
Yeah. And we're like,
gosh.
hey guys, I'm not too sure how we're gonna do this, but we're gonna try to make it work. And then it was. It's only happened once.
Well, because also your routines are so perfectly timed to music and visuals that like if you miss one beat, it's kind of like potentially a mistake. Have you ever gotten to the point where you're just like, oh my god, I flubbed this one?
Yeah, it's happened.
Well, it's minimal.
Happened, but then I don't know. I've been doing it for so long.
You recover.
I know how to recover.
You can
You
catch up
recover
to what
amazing.
you
I know how to.
amazing.
Yeah, I know how to catch up.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Wow.
And should we?
Ooh, we're going.
I think Jen's ready to
I'm
go.
definitely.
Next level. Oh,
I am sweating. Whoa.
Look at that. Everybody's shin is sweating.
I'm just gonna add another one for Shin.
So we're going up 2 levels.
Yeah, this is level 6.
Going up to level 6 here, not just level 5.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Oh, Shin Lim.
This gets hot. Yeah,
It gets hot.
This gets really hot.
I feel like I just got a preview of the face with the hair. You're like, wow.
Now I know. Now I know why you told me to bring a second pair of clothes. Yes.
Yeah, he's like, no, I'm all right. No, I'm fine. I don't need it.
He's like, I don't sweat. But like, we'll put that to the test right now.
I was wrong. I was so wrong.
Shin, tell us what you got going on in your life right now.
Well, it has been pretty stressful with the acquisition. Won't lie. There's a lot of technical issues, so trying to figure that out. We're still in the midst of that right now. So, yeah. But I am magic wise. I'm working on new stuff. I'm working on like I'm trying to work on this one new routine. So.
Can you work on making the economy come back? Please.
I can't. My Robinhood's at 0 right now. So I can't.
No.
I don't know.
Where can people find you?
Well, you can find me in Vegas. You
might run into me.
In Vegas at the Mirage. You can find me on social media. I'm not active at the moment. But yeah, Shin Lim Magic.
But you have great stuff up on your pages that you've posted.
Thank you.
And where can people get your tickets where they're not out of stock?
Banned.
Yeah.
So you just
not sold out.
Ticketmaster. You have to go on
Ticketmaster. Okay.
And Shin, while we're all in here, since you are being a superstar with the heat,
yes,
I'd love to ask you before we get out about collaboration, because I think one of the things that you've done really well over the years is work with other magicians, other performers in your show. You and Colin, I think, complement each other so perfectly in terms of your skill sets, and you both are so talented and in different ways. So over the years, has collaboration been a big part of your work?
Yeah, it has been. I think it always has been, because it always inspires me to do something new. It keeps things fresh all the time. So like with the show, Colin he's both on stage and off stage. Like, we're completely different personalities, and I think that works really well for the show, because it's such a perfect show for people with ADHD, because it's always something different. There's always something different happening, on whether it be the actual magic that we both do, or whether it's our personalities. And so, because usually, so for the Mirage Theater, they have comedians and stuff that come in all the time into that theater. That theater was made for comedians. It actually wasn't made for magic at all. So the backstage space, there's no backstage space. The back hallway is literally the width of this. I'm not even kidding. Yeah. So there's no space to do any like grandiose illusions or anything.
That's why it's hilarious.
Yeah. Colin's very funny. And so, but usually the comedians, they would have an opener. They would have an opener that would do 30 minutes, and then they would do the hour bit. But for my show, it's different. Colin still does 30 minutes and I do an hour, but that 30 minutes that he does is not opening. It's interweaved throughout the show. And so it kind of adds this like variety that I think is different from a lot of like, the current comedians that come to the theater. Yeah.
I think that's awesome, because it really provides texture.
Yeah.
Because it's like, as an audience member, they get to have those different experiences throughout the show.
Yeah.
So you can find Shin at the Mirage Casino, or soon to be Hard Rock.
Hard Rock, yeah, but they're gonna keep it at the name Mirage.
JK, go see him at the Mirage.
Mirage by Hard Rock.
At Ticketmaster, get the tickets. Go see Shin. It's seriously one of my favorite magic shows in all of Vegas. Yeah, man.
Oh, thank you, man.
Yeah, for real. It's
show.
incredible. And thank you guys so much for tuning in.
Wow.
Thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Shin, for joining us.
Yeah, you made it.
Sweating
you made
us.
it to level
You
6.
survived.
Wow, level 6.
With like 3 droplets
We
on
weren't
your
going to
face.
level 10? I thought...
You want to?
No.
All right. See you guys.
All right. See you next time.